We'll cut back to the match for you guys really quickly. Both players are going to be sideboarding and probably shuffling a whole bunch as well. Sideboards will bring up on the screen for you guys. Brandon Ross, taking a look at his sideboard, we've got Deathrite Shaman, a Cavernous Souls, a Brave Revelation, another Obsidat, 2 Abrupt Decays, 2 Liliana the Veils, 2 Centaur Healers, 2 Rocks Faith Menders, and 3 Acidic Slimes. I think it starts with that second Obsidat. I think that's the easy one. You know, I'm
actually not a fan of Obsidat in this matchup. Both decks are very powerful mid-rangey strategies.
Yeah.
You can't attack with it at all. And the life, like, look at what happened in that game. That 2 life every turn didn't actually do much. That's all it did, is just drain for 2 the entire game, and it wasn't that big of an effect.
I think that, you know, with the haymakers that were traded back and forth, it didn't seem like it was that big an effect. But when you're playing against someone who does have cards like Rest in Peace in their sideboard, or just, you know, Graveyard Hate. There's not Rest in Peace here, but I mean, you have Tormod scripts. He does have Graveyard Hate. You'd have to play a more traditional straight-up game, and Obsidat really is good in those games. So that's why I like having one of those there.
Okay.
You know, that Drain 2, Gain 2 didn't seem like it did very much, but it certainly wasn't irrelevant either.
I mean, not many things did much in that game. Hell, Craterhoof Behemoth didn't do much in that game.
Yeah. So we're really asking a lot from our cards here. Other things that are impressive here, I mean, Acidic Slime is certainly reasonable. You can really start to blow up the lands, make it so that, you know, Rick can't cast a large Sphinx Revelation.
I'm a big fan of Acidic Slime in this matchup. I think that's one of the crippling cards, along with Liliana. Now, Rick is on the play, so Brandon is on the draw. I don't think Liliana's as good there, but on the play, I think Liliana is a wonderful card in this matchup.
Liliana also a little bit dangerous because we do know that Rick has 4 copies of Lockstone Smiter, so
that's
something
fine.
to keep in mind.
Well, we kill an Absence Pilgrim first, then we can play defensive if he does have that Smiter.
All right, fair enough. As for Rick's sideboard?
Rick's sideboard has 3 Torment Script. Those are not Rest in Pieces. That's going to make things a little awkward. Junk is going to be able to kind of attrition out of those Torment Scripts instead of just being colded by a Rest in Peace. We do have a couple Garriks that are very good in this matchup. Prime Speaker Band is the best Garrick deck since it has the most consistent turn 3 copy of that, and that is very good against Junk because you can just draw into half of your deck and start your chain really quick. And those are the cards that I think are going to be coming in. And then the cards like Azura's Charm and Supreme Verdict are what I think are weakest in this matchup.
So we do see both players, they actually did shuffle very quickly, as they do want to get this match over with. One of these players wants to move on the finals. The other one does probably want to join our other standard open.
They do, but neither of them have the early aggressive spells that both decks really want, and no Farseek from Rick either.
So Rick does just have a couple dual lands. He passes the turn back, and we will see a mulch here from Brandon off of a forest and a woodland cemetery. He will turn over Acidic Slime, Restoration Angel, Thragtusk, and Temple Garden that will go to the hand.
So 3 really good threats. None that he really wants in the graveyard. Those are the kind that you want to draw. But he does have that Unbearer Rights to start any Acidic Slime chains once the game gets going. He was not able to get 2 lands off that to discard that Unbearer Rights to have a turn 4 play. But Grizzly Selvage is trying to dig even deeper.
We will see a Woodland Cemetery, an Overgrown Tomb, a second Woodland Cemetery, a second Overgrown Tomb, and an Abrupt Decay.
And one of those 5 cards was our clue. It was. So if you named Woodland Cemetery, you might have gotten it correct.
Maybe have. As we do see Brandon just play Temple Guardian, just pass a turn back. Rick is going to play a Sun Petal Grove. I just passed that turn back.
I feel Rick is a little burnt from his mold of 5 from last game. I know that was an hour ago, but I do think that this is just too slow of a draw to have against Junk.
Yeah, and I feel like this is really playing into Junk's hands here, as we're going to see another Grizzly Salvage. Obsidat, we see an Absence Pilgrim, a Angel Serenity, a Rave Revelation, and a Burial Rights.
Did he not check his sideboard because he's that Ray? I mean, there are Detention Spheres, but that is it. I mean, he brought in a Rave Revelation, but I think just being burnt out, he forgot that his opponent didn't have Rest in Peace.
It is certainly possible. I mean, the things that he does have to destroy with that Rave Revelation, again, are 2 Detention Spheres and an Oblivion Ring in the sideboard. That's it. So maybe...
I mean, I guess that's good enough to bring in a card that you just mill over. That's, like, sitting there pretty nicely.
Might be able to blow him out mid-combat, something like that. I mean, he did get that Lotleth Troll back last game, and that played a huge role in that game, being able to block and regenerate every turn, so...
interesting enough, Rick is boarding in the Feeling of Dreads. I feel like that could be like a fogged Craterhoof, but that's not what I want to try to do in this matchup.
Also a way to push through damage, as we saw last game when we got in that cluttered board stage. You're going to see a Thragtusk here from Rick. You know, if he had a card like Feeling of Dread to actually push through damage on one of those crucial turns when all of his guys had a million counters on them, he actually been able to win. So
it's one of the reasons that I don't like that they took away the one of Cyclonic Rift out of the Prime Circuit decks. You draw so many cards, you get so far ahead, but look at Brandon whittle them back down, whereas the Cyclonic Rift would have easily just been the game over.
So now we'll see Brandon. He is going to play Gavin Township, and we are going to see an Unburial Rights, and that is going to be on Angel Serenity. So Angel Serenity is going to come to play very early this game.
He just wants to get a bunch of value before he put a bunch of creatures in his graveyard, wants to protect himself against the top deck Tormod's Crypt. He wants to just start the mid-range chain.
So you see him return and put underneath Angel Serenity a Thraktos and a Acidic Slime and a Restoration Angel, basically acting as a draw 3 and daring Rick to take that Angel Serenity off of the table. Kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
No, he Barrow writes, why would you not play the Arbor Elf?
That's a good question. As we do see a second Thraktos here from Rick, and he does just pass the turn back.
It was in the front of his hand. I mean, he knew it was there.
Hey, sometimes those marathon affairs can affect your play.
That's
Minor
true.
mistakes can occur, as we are going to see Brandon come across here, 4-5, going to knock Rick down to 25. We'll see a Sun Petal Grove, and now we're going to see 5 mana tapped, and we're going to see an Acidic Slime.
I actually feel that was intent on it. Like, he meant to do that. I think he was thinking maybe that was a Wrath turn for Rick. And then since he didn't get Wrath, he's open to play more things.
The Acidic Slime does take care of that Hollow Fountain, so now Rick without blue mana. So Prime Speaker Zagana, we're far away from you, my friend. As we are going to see a Feeling of Dread tap down these 2 blockers.
Wow. Wow, I love it. That's so cool.
In for 10 we go. Going to knock Brandon down to 10. You're going to see a Hinterland Harbor. He thought about playing it, but he wants to slow roll it. Doesn't want Rick to know that he has that for the Feeling of Dread flashback.
Yeah.
So now we're going to see Brandon untap. He's going to draw. Avacyn's Pilgrim was the draw step for the turn.
He doesn't have much life, but what he does have is 4 Lingering Souls, and that does beat Feeling of Dread.
Yeah, that will blow up that plan very quickly. You do see Brandon, now that he does see Feeling of Dread is in Rick's deck, now he's slowed down a little bit.
Just like, huh.
Yeah. I would prefer not to lose to that effect this game.
Yeah. I feel like we can beat through that.
As you see, Brandon's draw this game is very good. You know, has his Angel Serenity online already. Acidic Slime already blew up a land. Has a ton of cards in his hand. Just thinking to himself, all right, if it's Feeling of Dread that you're going to try to beat me with, I have access to your sideboard. I know that you have 2 of those in there, and I just don't want to lose to that.
So, I mean, it still feels really bad to not attack with that Angel. Like, these games go, like, very long. He did hide a lot of cards underneath that Thraktos, so his Unburial Rights in hand is a little bit awkward since he's hidden all of his, pretty good effects. But I do feel like Lingering plus Flash might just be the play this turn, just to protect himself from that Feeling of Dread. It also protects him from Selesnya Charm.
You are going to see an Avacyn's Pilgrim join, and it looks like we're going to see a Lingering Souls as well. And there's your flashback. So he's going to put 5 blockers into play, 7 total. So
and Brandon's like, you know what? I'll be on the Township plan this game. Even though I saw it didn't work for you.
So we're going to see a Restoration Angel at the end of Brandon's turn. Rick is going to gain 5 life, push himself to 25, put a Beast token into play, and add 6 power to his board, all in the end step. Rick does draw a card. He draws a Breeding Pool, so blue mana is back online for him. Also does have that Hinterland Harbor in his hand. And we'll see what kind of attacks he wants to make.
Because of playing Feeling of Dread and Supreme Verdict, I feel like those 2 cards are for different matchups. He's like pigeonholed himself into not having many lines. He has to either attack or Wrath or try to Feeling of Dread his opponent, but there's not much he can do right now. He's just stuck. That's going to allow Brandon Ross to take over this game. Since he is making all of his land drops, he does have extra value in his Angel Serenity and a fistful of actual relevant spells. Another reason why I think like a mulligan would have been nice, but we do see a bunch of blocks. Is he gonna? You do not take damage in this match. You keep blocking, buddy. There we go.
He takes your advice. Acidic Slime gets in front of that Beast token. We're going to see a Gavin Township activation. Rick, again, trying to make his creatures bigger and push through damage. We saw this last game. Death Touch takes care of the Beast token. You're going to see a bunch of Spirits die. You're going to see some guys get bigger. As you do see our white dice come onto those creatures, and that will be Rick's turn.
Yeah. Breeding Pool comes to play. Tap. Brandon untaps. Do we see? I mean, there's another Lethal Hoof.
Not quite yet.
I will take an Angel Serenity. That's fine.
That's not so bad. And he does have the mana to cast it because of those mana accelerants up there. Does have enough white mana to be able to cast this Angel Serenity. It can take down 2 Thraktos and a Restoration Angel. It would leave Rick with 2 Beast tokens, however, so just something to consider. Even though they will not be lethal, we'll still leave him with some stuff.
Yeah, and that Rick would not be heartbroken about that play. That'll get 2 Angel Serenities into the graveyard and put 3 creatures back into his hand.
So here is Angel Serenity number 2 here from Brandon. You see the power of both this card and of this deck. He's deciding what he does want to target with this. You see him, he's going to take down a Restoration Angel. Looks like he's going to maybe target some things in his graveyard as well, but he's just going to opt to take out both those Thragtusk. Beast tokens will come into play here, and we're going to see an attack in the sky maybe from this other Angel Serenity.
Yeah, I mean, doing the math, you can leave that Spirit token back and be a little bit more protected from Feeling of Dread. Okay, just tag it with one damage. But knowing all the spells that are in Rick's deck, there's no way for him to deal lethal even if he attacks with 2 of his guys. Feeling of Dread plus Township isn't lethal. Detention Sphere is a very good answer for those Angel strategies, but Brandon does have an Abrupt Decay in hand, so that could get a little dirty.
Yeah, we could get a little awkward here really fast. As you see, Detention Sphere, a pretty good draw in the abstract, but then once you realize that Brandon does have an Abrupt Decay and how this could really backfire, and of course Brandon does have an Angel Serenity in play with 3 cards of his own underneath
it's a tasty decision since he does have a Hinterland Harbor in hand that would allow him to go Detention Sphere into Thragtusk.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think that's what we're gonna see here. It kind of makes me happy.
And you see that Brandon is taking you see Rick taking a look at the cards underneath Brandon's first Angel Serenity, saying, okay, what do you got down here? Do I care about these guys coming back? That Restoration Angel, that Thragtusk, that Acidic Slime? I think he does. You see him thumbing through his hand right now. You see that Supreme Verdict over there. You see that Detention Sphere in his hand. You see the Cavern of Soul, you see the Hinterland Harbor, excuse me, there as well. And he's really just taking a look at all of the game zones right now to figure out what line of play he wants to make.
Yeah, no, it's tough because on one side, an Angel Serenity gives you back 3 cards, but on the other one gives Brandon 3 spells too. And it gives him the Acidic Slime that kills the Detention Sphere. So yeah, we can't make that line. So we just have to Wrath.
We see a lot of different chain reactions here, but Supreme Verdict is the choice here for Rick. That's going to clear this board up quite a bit. You're going to see a lot of cards get exchanged back and forth here from the Angel Serenities. We're going to have a board state cleared up here. We're going to see an untap here from the...
We're going to float, so we have 1 green. All right, both players refuel.
And that Spirit token, you got to go too, my friend.
No, he's already dead. It's okay. All right, so this is going to allow Rick to play a Restoration Angel, but no value with those 2 Thragtusk in hand. But because he's only at 8 lands, he's just going to have to play it. This gives Brandon a clear board and another opportunity to start Acidic Slime in, and that's one of the big things in this matchup is just on these free turns, just killing off more lands. Get those utility lands, maybe take him off of his blue mana sources. He has 3 sources at this moment, but you can continue to whittle away at those. Take the Township if that's what you're afraid of.
The other thing that he can do right now, as well as you see him kind of looking through his hand, looking through his graveyard, he can also, on an open board here, as we're going to see on Unburial Rights. Yeah, he can play Obstinate on an open board here as well, but he is going to Unburial Rights, and he's going to bring back Angel Serenity. He is going to target some things here. Again, kind of play around that Tormod script that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, he's trying to play around that, but one thing that I'm a big fan of is not getting one of your Angel Serenities stuck underneath an Angel Serenity.
Sure.
I like, especially if I have access to Unburial Rights, I want to be able to do back-to-back Angels if I play one, because the board from the Prime Speaker can get clumped pretty fast, and then you're just out of options.
So now we do see Restoration Angel on the end step here by Rick. Rick is going to cast a Loxodon Smiter, going to follow that up with a Thragtusk, gain himself 5 life, push him up to 29, creating a little bit better of a board presence. And now you do see kind of the drawback of, of
hiding that
Angel Serenity now, as it would be a very nice target for the flashback and Unburial Rights.
Yeah, and tempo is the thing that Rick is trying to fight for. He's got Feeling of Dread, and again, those Lingering Souls tokens protected him last turn, but not this turn. Feeling of Dread is a very scary card to play against right now, and because Brandon did not draw that land, it would have been crucial to play another Angel Serenity this turn and hold up Abrupt Decay.
We're going to see Abrupt Decay take care of this Lockdown Smiter right away. Does not want to get blown up by a Restoration Angel.
Which is a fair assessment. And he does have a Restoration Angel to block as well, but because of that Township on both sides of the board, Rick will be able to activate his, forcing a trade there. So he is going to have to put the Angel Serenity up against the Restoration Angel and chump block the Thragtusk with his own Restoration Angel. Yeah, just stuck on 6 lands is where you don't want to be. A lot of sideboard games. That's where, when you say you like 4 mulches, they really come in handy after sideboard.
Yeah, the sideboard games are just so much different than the game ones.
Yep. And the mulches really help in those slow games. Well, I mean, that's the thing about Magic right now. Game 1 is all about ignoring your opponent. Game 2 is interacting.
Yep.
So, like, since the last 5 years, I've realized that games last about 3 more turns after sideboarded games do. They just last a little bit longer than the first games, and you can really prepare your decks for that. And that's one thing I really like doing, is bringing more cards in with flashback and things like that. Just have more spells. But we're going to see 9 power added to the board from Rick through Thragtusk and Smiter. Restoration Angel comes down for Brandon. He gets to untap, hopefully finding some big action spell. He needs something. That's not a bad card. I like going Thragtusk, Arbor Elf here. We just get more chump blockers on the board. Yep. Gives us a 15. That feeling of dread is something that you have to be concerned about. No pun needed. I'm not even going to go there.
I was going to give you a B+, but you said no pun, so no fair grades here.
I mean, the card does it itself. Feeling of dread, sitting in the graveyard. It's a good flavor one. Thank you for whoever designed Innistrad. It's such a good set.
I mean, this is definitely a tough situation here because you would think that most times the Feeling of Dread is not the kind of card you want in this matchup, but as we're going to see in Braille Rights on the Acidic Slime.
See, I guess, oh yeah, we do have another Abrupt Decay, right?
Yep. I think he has an Abrupt Decay at the ready.
He's just prepared to kill that Smiter. Not afraid of Restoration Angel anymore.
And again, we know that Rick does have the Defensive Sphere in his hand, and this again could be a huge blowout. As you see, it's going to target
the Acidic Slime.
The Acidic Slime.
And now that he's free from Acidic Slime, well, he does know Brandon has one in hand, but now he's just going for lethal here. He's going for the tap down, kills the guy, taps the 2 guys down, and that's game. That is game over.
So you see, it's going to go over there. These are going to get tapped here. Here come the Doofuses, and even if he does Abrupt Decay, that Acidic Slime that comes into play, blows up a thing, and then he gets that in front of a Thragtusk. But you see 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 damage. And I think Brad, we're going to move on to a game number 3 here.
We are, yeah, and that's just it. Like, he had an Unbearer Rights, he had that Angel Serenity locked under one, and that was the pivotal turn. Yep. He had this game really locked up. Rick was down to not many options, had to use the resources he had. Brandon had all of them and just got a little greedy. I feel putting that underneath was just not even a bad, it wasn't a bad play, it was a greedy play.
And we do see a concession here from Brandon. So we are going to move on to a 3rd and final game between Prime Speaker Bant and Junk Reanimator. Again, stay tuned after this game. We do have our finals match. We do have 12 months of premium. Of course, we do have to give away those 6 months of premium for that question I asked you a little bit earlier.
And in the finals, we're going to see if John Cuvier can take down back-to-back opens in Orlando.
That is correct.
And we'll be giving away an entire year of premium. And I can't even add up. That's like 50 episodes of Above the Curve. You can see 50 episodes of me on Above the Curve.
You guys are just going to skip 2 weeks?
I mean, those are like Pro Tour testing. I probably only make 2 Pro Tours.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We're going to be honest.
Lazy. You guys are lazy. It's unbelievable.
That we skip 2?
Yeah.
And we just spend, 130 hours playtesting.
That's right. It's unbelievable.
It's just so lazy.
Yeah. It's just unacceptable behavior. Again, if you guys are joining us, Cedric Phillips, Brad Nelson here in Star City Games Open Series in Orlando, Florida. You guys can join us on Twitter, join in the conversation at SCG Live, hashtag SCGORL. We'll be checking your tweets all day long during the finals of this tournament, also all day during our 2nd Standard Open. If you guys are up this morning, bless your hearts. It's early.
It is very early.
It's impressive that she could be here this early this morning.
What's actually impressive is these games. We are 75 minutes into the semifinals.
You got to battle it out. Who wants to make the finals and dethrone John Cuvier? That's the question. Who wants it bad enough?
I think the problem is both these players want it bad enough, and they're both showing that they are decent enough to take down a John, and they have the matchup.
Yeah.
So I think John is going to have a struggle. He's got the uphill battle, but he is fine playing from behind, as we can see, all day long. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't have a good Junk Reanimator player, but you know what? I'm probably the best player in this room, and I'm going to take it down. He's not actually a pretty modest guy. I shouldn't be talking for him.
Sure.
He's very humble.
John, again, playing a traditional Jund-controlled deck list. Does have 2 main deck ground seals. Is 3-0 against Junk Reanimator this weekend, and is just waiting for his finals opponent. Is it going to be Brandon Ross playing Junk Reanimator? Is it going to be Rick Meditz playing Prime Speaker Bant? We're going to find out after this game. As you do see both players shuffling up here, kind of reviewing their sideboards. Rick did bring in a card that we did not expect in the Feeling of Dread, and it did pay off in spades.
It was pretty impressive. I feel like the biggest blunder was putting that angel into play for value when you didn't need to. I would have just started to just use acidic slimes that one to let Rick go double creature like he did a couple turns in a row and get the beats on. He just like trades with his acidic slime, gets 2-for-1 value out of it, leaves those Sphinx's Revs stuck in hand, casting for 2 or 3 instead of 5 or 6.
You can definitely see the fear as well of, when a player has graveyard hate, Tormod's Crypt's Rest in Peace, something like that. You can see it's definitely affecting Brandon's play.
Yeah.
Whereas game 1, he doesn't have to make those plays because those angels will be there forever, and I'll get to them when I need them. But with both angels in the graveyard after a Supreme Verdict and Embarrass Rights in your hand, you're thinking, I might want to get one of those out of there so that if he does top deck the Tormod's Crypt, I don't lose access to my angels.
I mean, maybe it was just a curiosity thing, because one of the things that I do on Magic Online when I'm playtesting decks is I make every line.
Sure.
And just to see how it plays out. And one of them that I found interesting when I played against Prime Speaker Bant was I'm not going to worry about graveyard hate. I'm going to trade resources all game long and cast Acidic Slime if I don't die every turn and see what happens. Just try to cast Acidic Slime every turn.
Okay.
Restoration Angel it, whatever. And if I have like a good creature from the graveyard, I'd rather Acidic Slime and blow up a lamb. And what I found is that just cripples them. Around turn 10 or 11, they didn't make all their land drops. They only have like 5 lands in play. They can't double spell you when you're double spelling them. And that's the line. So I think a lot of random players might not have found that yet.
Okay.
Like just the Acidic Slime return, because when he wrathed, I was like, perfect opportunity to start Acidic Slime in.
Yeah. Board was clear.
Even against 8 lands to 6, you just want to keep doing that. That's your line.
Yeah, he has the opportunity to establish a lot of different things there. He could have established a Thragtusk, could have established an Obsidian at that turn. It's certainly arguable about what the best play was. Obviously, Acidic Slime is probably your line there. Even bringing back an Angel of Serenity, it makes sense.
Yeah.
The line of thought there. You don't want to lose to a top deck Tormod's Crypt because Angels are so important in this matchup. And that's the line he chose, and unfortunately it did backfire on him. So we'll see exactly what Brandon does try to do game 3 here.
I mean, that was probably a very good play in this matchup when your opponent doesn't have feeling of dread. And we saw Rick do that earlier yesterday, and finally we see it pay off. That was a powerful turn.
Who knew? Feeling of Dread, another one of those cards that's actually quite good. We saw that card be an all-star for Alexander Hayne at Pro Tour Barcelona in his Miracles deck when he took the title there, and makes you wonder, maybe that card's a little bit underplayed right now.
I remember that Pro Tour vividly. I was helping Josh show test for his semifinals in it, and we were playing a Naya deck. And I was like figuring out everything. I thought so long, and I'm like, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. And on turn 2, Alexander Hayne goes, in your upkeep, tap your elf. And then I just grabbed my head. I'm like, I was so wrong because I didn't see that line, that time walk effect. And that changed the whole course of the match.
Sure.
I mean, we still were favored because we had a card that was dead in the entire format except for that matchup, which was Nevermore.
Okay.
Worst card I've ever played in a sideboard at a Pro Tour, except beat Miracles. Name and treat they can't win. But we never drew one.
That's a frown town.
Yeah.
As we do see both players laying out their 7 cards here. Game 3 of our semifinals. The winner of this match will play against Jean Cuvier, and we will see if we can crown champion, as Rick is going to go down to 6 cards.
Now that is Rick's 3rd mulligan of the match against Brandon 0. That's one thing about the Prime Speaker Bant deck. It does not have the Salvage on Barrow Rights mulch plan that Junk Randomer does to give it consistency. They both are playing relatively the same spells, except for those. It's pretty much Hate and Prime Speakers are the different cards in Rick's deck, and the Umbrella Rights and things like that different in Brandon's. And that's one of the big things that Junk Reanimator players love is the consistency of a lot of good hands and mulligans. Well, it's not a blitz deck. If you mulligan to 6, it doesn't mean you've already lost.
Yep. And we just see game 1 where Rick did mulligan to 5, put up one heck of a fight.
Well, that was probably one of the best games I've ever. I know that's the best game I've ever commentated, just how big of a grind it was. But one of the best games I've ever seen.
Yeah, very, very back and forth game.
Yeah, 60 minutes. He played every single spell on his deck, and Brandon killed him with Critterhoof when he could have let him draw a card and still died. I loved it.
So we do see Brandon going to shuffle up Rick's deck here. Rick going to lay out his next 6, hopefully able to keep that so we can have a bit of a fair fight here.
Well, you know what he does with 5 cards. I don't know how fair we want it. Like,
that's true.
This day has to go on.
Yeah, we could be. It might be time to buckle in here. You make a very good point, my friend.
I don't know about you, but I want a breakfast break today.
All right, 6 cards. How do we do? It looks like he's content. Underway, game 3. Godless Shrine to start for Brandon. We'll see a Temple Garden here for Rick. The early turns, of course, are just about establishing the mana base. You see an Abbott's Pilgrim drawn. You see a mulch there. And we are going to see a mulch cast here by Brandon, turning over a Temple Garden, a Woodland Cemetery, a Lotless Troll, and a Restoration Angel. So that is going to be a draw 2.
Yeah. So if it's pretty interesting because you only have one green source. He mulched, but if that was an Arbelf, I think I'd definitely play that into the mulch. I love the accelerators into the diggers.
Sure.
In case you draw another 2-drop. We do have a hoof in hand, so we don't need to draw one. We don't need to draw one. And now the Avacyn Pilgrims comes down, Threat for the next turn, Lingering Souls as well. And if we just hit 8 mana, we got some action.
Yes, we do. As we do see an Avacyn's Pilgrim here for Brandon, you're going to see him play an Isolated Chapel, and we're going to see a Thragtusk join the party.
All right, that's going to get Brandon up to 25. I'm going to have Thragtusk nightmares after this weekend, aren't I?
I've had them for the past couple of months.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you do this so often, I've seen a lot of Thragtusks in my day. And Thragtusk was directly responsible for me qualifying for Pro Tour Seattle, but I've had enough. I have had enough of him.
What was the format?
I was just a standard. I was playing Bampod, and I was just Thragtusk and Restoration Angeling, and I did that so many times that day and have commentated on so much. I have seen enough of that 5/3 beast.
Well, good thing. Next week I'm going to shake it up for you, okay?
All right, I can't wait as we do see a Vault of the Archangel here. Here comes the 5/3 beast that you need to bring 2 spears for. And we're going to see Restoration Angel.
Just for the block. And that's fine. Fair. Yeah. Brandon's like, okay, cool.
Happy with the trade. Beast token going to come into play, and we'll see. They were reaching for you. He was reaching for you.
This is just... Can we do something about this?
Like thinly, these are very thinly veiled daggers at you.
Yes. I feel like we should be able to use Brad Nelson tokens.
We'll have to talk to your people. Have to talk to our people, as we're going to see a a Lingering Souls, and he's not going to flash it back. Thragtusk is just going to be played, and Rick is going to pass the turn back.
I do like that he's playing around the Supreme Verdict. He knows it's coming. He's got 6 lands. All he has to do is draw 2 more lands, and the game is over. It's just the longest draw step. Oh wait, we have 1 land. We just need to draw land.
Yep. And we do see Unburial Rights the draw step there for Brandon. Of course, he does have Crater
that'll be great
in his hand.
And that'll help him play that Thragtusk. Did not get Wrath last turn, so I think the coast is clear, and it's fine to just progress our board. Let's attack for 2, drop Rick down to 21, and get a Thragtusk into play, putting us up to 30. About only half of the life total that he had in game 1.
Yeah, as we are going to see those spirits attack. We're going to see an Unburial Rights here. That's going to bring back a Thragtusk, giving himself a little bit of a defense against the Supreme Verdict, and he is just going to pass the turn back. So no flashback of that Lingering Souls just yet. So we're going to see a Gavany Township here, and it is Prime Speakers Agata time.
All right, it is time to draw. It is prime time. That is fine, because we got a Crater Hoof. Can't think of a rhyme word. Man, I'm so close.
That's all right. We'll get you the thesaurus.
Yeah.
Maybe Google. We can help you out. As you see, Rick is going to take a look at their over here. So Rick has drawn
because we have a Crater
lot
Hoof
of cards.
1 time. There we go. No, it's the same word as time. Never mind.
You can't rhyme time and time. You're not.
Whatever. We can top deck. We can top deck a land.
Yeah.
That was really awkward.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was real
bad. Was that supposed to be Lil Wayne? I don't know. I have no idea.
I didn't commit to it. That was my problem.
Yeah, I've literally no clue what that was.
Would not commit. I wanted to do it, but I didn't commit. But I'm very committed to a top deck land.
And so all those cards that Rick did draw, you see the last one in his hand.
It's a free spell, script. Yeah. Really good with Prime Speaker. I like that. I like that interaction. That's actually kind of cool that you can Sphinx's Rever Prime Speaker into a 0-drop. I like the Tormod scripts in this deck.
So he does play Tormod script. He does discard Breeding Pool, and Brandon hoping to draw a land. Brad hoping with him. We see a Sun Petal Grove is the draw step.
Crater Hoof!
Unbiased reporting here from Brad Nelson as we do see a Crater Hoof Behemoth be put onto the stack. Going to resolve the ability. The trigger does resolve. We see an attack for a boatload of damage. And Brad is just unbiased in his reporting.
51 trample damage coming to your face.
And we have a handshake. Brandon Ross with Junk Reanimator. We have finally got a Crater Hoof Behemoth resolution here for Brad Nelson. Defeats Rick Meditz and his Prime Speakers Bant deck. And if you had headphones on, I feel bad for your ears.
I don't.
But we have not just one player happy in Brandon Ross moving on to the finals, but we have a commentator happy here as well in the booth.
Oh, I got to finally see a huff.
A
real huff.
It took you a day. Oh, we're through.
Almost,
This was round 8. It took you 11 rounds.
it took me 11 rounds to find a good huff.
Yeah.
He huffed in game 1, but that wasn't a good huff. That didn't feel good.
Tough crowd.
Yeah.
Tough crowd indeed.